I apologize to those of you who had better plans for tonight. You know, it just happened. All managers are present except Manager Shackleton, and though I don't usually disclose people's personal information, I feel that I should say that he's at Joshua Tree, and don't we all wish we were there? Is there any member of the public who wishes to address the board on a matter that's not on the agenda? Then let's get a motion to approve the agenda. Manager Miller, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Olson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Under information items, we have introduction of a new staff member tonight. That must be you. Welcome. Mr. Whisker.
President White, managers will provide a brief introduction, then turn it over to Alex. So Alex joined us on January 31st. I think the board had asked a couple questions in committee about how our new GIS tech was going to be plugging into IT planning. So safe to say we're all excited to have him here. As you know, he's going to be working to help us organize all of our geospatial data, so all the information about the watershed, get that pulled together, organized, and then in a format that will allow us to screen opportunities and inform our policy decision making. A byproduct of that, or the end product, is to create some really compelling visuals, maps, story maps, interactive maps for our website to communicate with stakeholders. So he's been at work already. As you heard from Sarah, he's helped us patch a couple of issues and then making the rounds with the departments to kind of assess needs and figure out what we're supposed to do next. So welcome, and
thank you.
Maybe give us a little bit of background on yourself.
Yeah, good evening, Madam Chair, managers. As James mentioned, my name is Alex Steele, the new GIS technician here at the district. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Geography from University of Minnesota, Twin Cities. My background includes work in county government, providing mapping and analysis for engineering, public works, and planning functions. I also have experience in the private sector, providing mapping and drafting for environmental remediation and cleanup, as well as regulatory compliance. Most recently, I was with the City of Minneapolis for a brief stint with Surface Water and Sewers Division and Public Works. I'm really excited to be here for the opportunity to leverage GIS and spatial data and provide the tools and analysis so we can really better understand our watershed. With that, I want to thank you for the opportunity and your time, and happy Valentine's Day.
Welcome.
Thank you.
On the consent agenda, there's item 7.1, Resolution 19016, which is authorization to dispose of a vehicle and order a new vehicle. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Move approval.
Manager Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Rognus?
This is Manager Miller.
Yes.
Miller Rognus?
Miller Rognus. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. I don't have much in the way of report because it was very cold, and the one meeting I would have attended was canceled because of the hazardous weather. So I'm glad that there's no one on crutches. I haven't seen any black and frostbitten faces, so I guess everyone survived. And that's all I have. Manager Olson, would you report on Operations and Programs Committee?
Yes, we had a meeting tonight regarding the work that has been done for the IT effort with our website, and we had a very detailed review of all the plans that they're doing to bring in a consultant and bring that website up to date. So it's very, very well received by the committee.
Thank you. Manager Becker, were you at the CAC?
I was at the CAC, and they had 3 items of business. They discussed the revisions in the permitting system, setting directions for a new process, and they were led by Tom Dietrich of our staff. Had a good discussion. They also went through the strategic communications plan with Telly Mamayak, and they had elections, and I think I got the elections right. I hope some staff will correct me if I'm wrong. The chair was elected chair was Peter Reckelbacher. The vice chair is Bill Bushnell, and the two executive officers are John Saldet and Brian Gerard.
You nailed it.
Good. And that was it.
All
And we're
right.
done by 9.
Thank you very much. The upcoming meetings are listed on our agenda, and Manager Miller will be attending the CAC in March. Then we'll move on to item 11.1, Resolution 19017, presented by Anna Brown.
Thank you, President White and managers. I am seeking approval of an easement with Crown College to facilitate the construction of a carp barrier. As you're aware, we have awarded the construction contract for the construction of 3 barriers at Highland Road, Wasserman, and Crown College. When the construction contract was awarded, we did not yet have land rights for Crown College. So the notice to proceed for construction was issued for the 2 sites, and we've held off issuing for Crown College. The easement before you is a 10-year automatically renewing term easement, and allows the college to terminate the easement with a year's notice after that first 10-year period. And it also allows the college to request a relocation of the barrier should it conflict with future development plans, which is an extremely low risk given the barrier's location in the ditch channel. So staff has strived to secure permanent easements for all of our barrier facilities as part of this program. However, these were the only terms that the college was willing to commit to, and this site is extremely critical for the management of common carp in the subwatershed. So it's our estimation that both the risk of losing the easement is very low, and that the restoration benefit achieved, even if it's in place for a 10-year window, would be significant, and that we would be able to maintain that benefit. While we've been negotiating land rights with Crown College, we did initiate conversations with Smith Partners to evaluate the statutory land rights requirements through the Lessard Sam's Outdoor Heritage Fund, and with Smith Partners have determined that the barriers are not subject to permanent land rights requirements, and that we can do this work within a term easement structure. So we are talking with Lessard Sam's staff about the matter, and are sort of continuing to work through some of the details of how it will be processed administratively. But at this point, it's our recommendation that we approve the easement and proceed with barrier construction within this winter construction season, along with the other 2.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adopt resolution?
Second.
Questions for Ms. Brown? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item 11.2 is Resolution 1918. Mr. Whisker.
President White, I'm going to have manager Michael Heyman present this one.
We could promote him, that's okay. Or demote, I don't know which works.
Cut his salary quite a bit. Good evening, Chair White and managers. Here before you this evening with Resolution 19018, which is authorization to execute a contract with the University of Minnesota to assist in evaluation of surface and groundwater interactions in South Minneapolis. As you're aware, since November 2017, the district's been participating in an interagency effort in South Minneapolis to better understand groundwater and surface water interactions throughout that portion of the city. The interagency team has been meeting repeatedly since that time, and has done great work in sort of collecting data and determining what they feel to be sort of the synthesis of all that information and how those water resources are interacting. That effort is culminating in a synthesis, a paper that they will be compiling over the next few months. And as part of that effort and part of our analysis, we've requested that staff at the University of Minnesota review and provide a third-party input or analysis to it, both to review the information and synthesize the data that's been collected and what is coming out of that study, but also to sort of truth it and see if there's some questions that we're not identifying or what else may be missing in order to best understand what's going on. The faculty at the University of Minnesota that are assisting are very familiar with Minnehaha Creek as they helped to lead the base flow study from 2013 that did a great job at sort of describing how base flow and surface shallow groundwater interact throughout the entire Minnehaha Creek subwatershed. So the scope of work for that effort is in the packet. I'm happy to answer any questions, but staff is recommending that the board authorize the administrator to sign the agreement with the University of Minnesota and conduct that effort.
Thank you, Mr. Heyman. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
So moved.
Manager Rognes, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Becker, are there questions for Mr. Heyman? This is a really good idea. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm going to look for two actions here, each of which is to request that we go into closed session. First of all, may I have a motion to go into closed session, discuss valuation issues concerning 325 Lake Road in Hopkins? I'm sorry, I misspoke. That's such a habit. It's to discuss a claim made by Minnesota ICE concerning 325 Lake Road and to discuss these matters with legal counsel.
And Madam Chair,
Yes.
managers, just for the record, Minnesota ICE has served the district with summons and complaint and has therefore initiated the litigation. And it's under that basis that we're recommending that you do go into closed session so that you can discuss with counsel the nature of the claim.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Manager Becker, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Olson, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And then we also have on our agenda this evening the administrator's performance review, and I would like a motion to go into closed session for that performance review.
So moved.
Manager Olson, is there a second?
Second.
Manager Miller, did you have a comment, Mr. Holman?
Just a comment that before we go into closed session that you would want to come out of the first closed session and at that time certain of our guests would depart and then you would have the discussion regarding Mr. Whisker's performance.
Thank you. You see no objection to doing both motions together, though?
The motions can be done together.
Certainly. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then, we will first proceed to the Minnesota ICE matter. Mr. Heyman.